Jake F., will Earl Thomas still go to the Texans with Bill gone as the GM? So obviously there was some reports last week that, Earl Thomas could potentially go to the Houston Texans. He grew up in Orange, Texas, pretty close to Houston. But we did start off our NFL Live show here today with some breaking news around Bill O'Brien. Remember, we normally go live every single Monday, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So make sure you don't miss it. Click that big red button that says subscribe. We did start today's show a little bit early, but Bill O'Brien, he did end up getting fired.
Yeah, and look, I think the Earl Thomas thing fizzled out for a couple of reasons. One, maybe they knew that Bill O'Brien was going to be fired soon, so maybe that could come into play here too. And two, I'm not sure how serious they actually were. Maybe Earl Thomas's agent leaked that. I don't know, but obviously he wants a job at this point. I would not expect an 0-4 team to sign him, though. I think it'll be a desperate contender that does.
Next question coming in from Devonte Thornton. Do you think that the Ravens will trade Matt Judon?
I don't think so. They're contending. I mean, if someone throws them a first-round pick, maybe. But if they trade him, it'll be after the season, just like if they were going to trade him this past year, it would have been in the offseason. I would not expect an in-season trade when you're a contender.
Next one coming in from Stinky Cheese. If the Cowboys fire Mike McCarthy and blow it up, will they go after Eric Bieniemy? Who's a better coach, Mike McCarthy or Eric Bieniemy?
I mean, I'd probably take Eric Bieniemy.
Exactly.
That being said, I don't think they would have to go like 2-14 to fire McCarthy. I think it would have to be so bad for Jerry Jones to fire a guy after 1 year. I don't expect that to happen. Even if Dallas underachieves, they'll still probably win 6 games or so. I think it would take a disaster to fire him.
Rashard Lee, you're next up. What would the Cowboys trade for Gillmore and then sign Earl Thomas and Snacks?
I think the Gillmore thing is sailed at this point.
I mean,
unless the Patriots kind of start skidding here, which they could lose a couple of games without Cam Newton.
They're not trading Stephon
No,
Gilmore.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think the only chance that was going to happen is if they were going to be like 1-5, 0-6 at the trade deadline and get a couple of first-round picks for him. But I don't see that being very likely at all.
Next question coming in from Ten Yang. Ignore my other super chat comment on the rookie wide receiver. So he originally asked this question about CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson, who he thought was better. That comment was bugged, came out much later. Thoughts on Danielle Hunter?
Danielle Hunter. My thoughts are that he's a good player. If you're asking if they should trade him, I think a lot of teams would be interested. Seattle, anybody? Pass
14
rusher?
and a half sacks last season.
Really good player.
Last 2 seasons. So, yeah, very, very good player. Roondog 28, Julio to the New England Patriots. I saw this rumor circulating over the weekend. I would say if the Atlanta Falcons decide to move on from Julio, I definitely think that the Patriots would be interested. And if they do decide to move on, we're definitely going to be live. So make sure you guys hit that big red button that says subscribe for NFL daily videos, especially for breaking news. You were going to weigh in, though.
Can I
Julio.
give a quick thought? Yeah, make sure you're subscribed. If Julio gets traded, we'll have a video about it. Trust us on that.
ASAP Rocky.
Who's the best receiver Cam Newton's ever played with? Think about it.
Kelvin Benjamin.
It's not saying much. Julio, he would be by far the best he's ever played with.
I guess now technically it might be Julian Edelman. That's probably the best receiver.
4 games that he's by far the best receiver he's ever played.
It's either that or it's probably Kelvin
Julian,
Benjamin. It
or
ain't great
Ted Ginn
way.
that 1 year maybe.
Oh,
Gosh.
Ted Ginn.
He had like 10 touchdowns.
All right, next question from Rubber Ducky Nikolas Folk. Is it time to move on from Tavon Young? When healthy is arguably the best slot corner in the league, but never healthy, and then the Ravens draft a corner in the draft.
I definitely think they need to beef up their secondary. Obviously, they moved on from Earl Thomas. This is a team that has gone very similar to Seattle, where elite defense forever, right? And then some guy named Lamar Jackson comes in, and you start to build around him. Then now you got to slowly get some of those pieces back on defense. I definitely think they need to key in on some defensive guys this offseason.
Zyaire Brown, get a picture. Eric Weddle or Anthony Barr? I guess you're asking that question.
They play different spots.
One of the guys retired. Anthony Barr is a linebacker.
If it's better player, the guy who's playing, right? I'll take Anthony Barr.
Eric Weddle would be pretty interesting, though, if he would be able to come out of retirement. I know there's a lot of teams that are potentially, interested in him, though, we'll see. I would say at their peaks, it's a totally different question. I guess if either of these guys have any news around him, if Weddle decides to come out of NFL retirement, hey, we'll keep you updated. Next question's coming in from Coach Dreadhead. Trey Flowers, Rashad Penny, and a 6th-round pick to Washington for Matt Ryan Kerrigan,
Matt Kerrigan, Tyrann Matthews in Kansas City.
Coach Dreadhead, this is what you need to subscribe to the Seahawks channel. That way you know who plays on certain teams. If you need to know what's going on around in the Seattle Seahawks, again, youtube.com/Seahawks.
You want to try that one again? Feel free to.
Rocket Pebird. Which next head coach will be fired? Bill O'Brien was the first one fired. I mean, for me, it's got to be between Adam Gase, Dan Quinn.
Yeah, we've got
Those are the two guys.
We got a list
Doug
of four
Marrone.
guys here. I think it should be Adam Gase because he shouldn't have gotten hired by the Jets in the first place.
Agreed.
But I think it's more likely Patricia or Quinn is the next to go.
John Lou says Gase.
I think it should be Gase, but I think Quinn and Patricia are more like. If Quinn loses to the Packers on Monday night, that could be it for him.
Who needs a win bad? I say the Texans. I agree. They are the one team. They are the one team that's 0-4 where I'm like, okay, they are by far the best 0-4 team. I'm also going to throw out all the teams in the NFC East because, well, they're kind of right there in that mix. What do you think?
I don't think it really matters at this point for the Texans. I mean, you already fired your coach. Like, are you really playing for this year at this point? I mean, I know you don't have a first-round pick, so that's part of the problem. I think that the Lions need a win.
Ooh.
Matt Patricia needs a win. Bad.
Okay. Polo G, Clowney, and Thomas to the Seahawks. I mean, Jadeveon Clowney, Earl Thomas. I mean, maybe
Clowney's not going anywhere. Let's get that straight. He's hanging out in Tennessee. He's good to go. And I don't think Earl Thomas is going back to Seattle. I think that.
And if I was Seattle, would you even welcome him back?
I mean, yeah. Can you bring back a guy that flipped off your head coach during a game? I don't think so.
That's really tough sell. Something that's not a tough sell are these jerseys. Go to chatsports.com/jersey deal where you can get NFL jerseys under $80. Earl Thomas, Jadeveon Clowney, probably never going to be Seahawks again. But Russell Wilson, he's going to be there a long time, and he's deservingly so. Another great quarterback, Dak Prescott. Chatsports.com/jersey deal. Under $80. Sorry, I was going to say something again, but then I saw you open up your mouth.
Well, what I was going to say, Mitch, is that we have a lot of jerseys, not just the ones we're showing you, and they're all $79.99, brand new, authentic Nike jerseys. These prices, Mitch, they don't last forever. Chatsports.com/jersey deal. Take advantage of the sale. That link is in the comments, and it is in the description.
Would Robert Saleh be a good replacement for Bill O'Brien?
I don't think it's a bad idea. If you want to go defensive head coach, I think it's fine.
See, my only issue is it was literally 2 years ago. People were like, oh, fire Saleh, fire Saleh, fire Saleh.
I mean, he didn't have a lot to work with, right? Like, you give him some pieces, you got a lot to work with. Now, did the Texans have a lot to work with defensively? Not particularly. So I would go with an offensive guy. I would go get Bieniemy, Lincoln Riley, one of those dudes that can maximize Deshaun Watson, and then go hire a legitimate defensive coordinator.
Your best player, your future of your franchise is at quarterback. Get the best out of him. You Green, it's really weird with your name and its purple logo. I don't like it. Can the Raiders fire Paul Gunther and bring back the old defensive line coach? So Buckner right now is the defensive line coach with the Arizona Cardinals, and I've seen a lot of people like, oh, the Cardinals are doing so great on the D-line. Do the Raiders have a chance of firing Paul Gunther? Yes, absolutely, even though John Gruden on Monday came out and backed up his DC. However, if the move is to be made, I believe it's going to be in Week 6. That's when the Raiders have a bye. It would also be probably coming off of 3 straight losses to Patriots, Bills. You're probably going to lose to the Chiefs in Week 5. So if they make the move, it's
and you're just going to promote
Rod Marinelli.
You're not going to go hire an external guy in the middle of the season.
You Green, shout out your favorite team. I'm guessing it's the Raiders, and everyone watching right now, we'll start giving some shout-outs here. Harrison does a lot of awesome coverage for the Chiefs, the Bears. I cover the Raiders. I know Tom back there is always doing stuff on the Cowboys. Hey, we got Sam back there liking the Broncos for whatever reason. Jimmy,
that's a tough one.
I don't even know if Jimmy likes football, to be honest with you.
He's a Cowboys fan.
Oh,
he's more of an NBA. How about the Mavs? Doesn't say NFL team up there.
Touche. Shout out your favorite team right now. MD Chohurdy says the Jets. I'll tell you what.
That's a true fan, though. You know what? That is a true fan if you're sticking with the Jets with Adam Gase. Good for you.
Nick, you're next up here. Which team will likely be sellers by the NFL trade deadline?
Speaking of the Jets, they better be, right? Like,
I would say the Falcons got to be a seller.
Jets, Giants.
Probably.
Maybe we'll move on for some piece. How about the Dolphins? Continue to stockpile picks. You may have 2 top 5 picks this year with your own pick and that Texans pick. I mean, continue to rack them up, right? Like, I think the Dolphins next year could be a really.
Did you
good
say
team.
the Texans should be sellers?
Without a first, maybe try and get a first.
That's what I'm saying. Like, without a first or a second round pick, you just try to sell, get Deshaun Watson, maybe some more talent, and build the defense. Matthew, what up? Will the Bills trade for a pass rusher?
Not really sure they need to.
I was just going to say, I mean, that defense, I mean, that team is pretty well put together. I mean, sure, maybe to put them over the hump, but I mean, you're a 4-0 football team. Your defense is playing pretty well. I mean, I understand the Raiders just put up 23 on you, but one of those touchdowns came in garbage time.
What you have to ask yourself, by the way, Bills Chiefs 2 Thursdays from now is going to be a good test for them. What you got to ask yourself, maybe even after that game, what is the gap to catch Kansas City? That'll be a good test to see where they are. They get them at home on a Thursday night. If they feel like an elite pass rusher is the difference, then maybe you do something like that.
Last question, unless we get a super chat. Any news on Ryan Kerrigan? So, defensive edge rusher for the Washington football team. He's been battling some injuries. Is there any latest on him?
I mean, he's been connected to trade rumors for months now, but, with Chase Young banged up, I don't really think anything's going to happen there. I think he'll be just fine. I don't think Washington's going to move him.
Super chat time. Ten Yang, again, you're the MVP of today's show. Sorry, I meant thoughts on Danielle injury. Should he stay on the IR to heal or rush back because, well, my Vikings are 1-3?
Well, he's got to be there for at least 3 weeks, so I think it's one of those situations, where do the Vikings sit when he's eligible to return? If
he's healthy, you play him.
Yeah, I mean, if he's, I'd say 80% or better, you activate him. If he's, 65, 70%, you probably leave him on the IR. But you'll just have to wait and see once we get closer to that mark.